value input, right? And we're going to name it z. Then we call it. This means calling it, right? Execute it. And we pass in this function. This is exactly the same as if I did this. And then I pass z here. You guys see how that is exactly the same as this? Yes? Look again. This, right? Sorry, F2. That's what I meant. Okay. This is exactly the same as that. This and that are the same. Is that obvious to you? Yes? Okay. If that's obvious, let me get rid of this. Okay. And what is this? What is this thing that I'm passing to D? Is it a string? Is it a number? What is it? It's a function. Good. So I'm passing a function in as an argument to F. So Z takes on this value. Right? Okay, so now Z means, whenever you see Z, it means this function. If Z is a function, what can you do with a function? You can execute it. Good. So that's what we do here. We execute it. This function happens to take a value, which is why we pass a value. This 4 goes in here, gets A, and we get 4 times 4. Alright? So this would turn into 16. And then you add the 5, and you return the result, 21. Let's check our work. So if we do console log D, let's see what prints. Yep, 21. Did that make sense? Yes? Kind of cool, right? JavaScript is one of these cool languages where you can pass a function as an argument to a function. Not all languages support this functionality, but JavaScript does, and it's really, really cool. Okay, now, here's what I... Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yes, go.
Function f. Can we call it before we define the function?
Can we call f before we do which part?
The second.
This. You mean this part?
Yeah.
Okay, so by calling it, you mean this?
Yeah.
Okay, what does this mean? You tell me exactly what that line means.
That we execute.
Right, execute. And what does this stuff here mean? What is this?
Value.
It's a portal through which we pass inputs, right? It's a hole, it's a path. So if we don't pass anything, what inputs have we passed in? Nothing. So what this is saying is, run this function with no inputs. If we run this function with no inputs, what is Z? No inputs, right? Undefined, empty. So if you do empty and you try to run empty, if you try to run undefined, what will happen? Error. I mean, think about it. If this was a string and you tried to do this, what would happen? No, it would be an error. You can't execute a string, right? You can't execute a number. You can't execute an array. The only thing you can execute is a function. So if I called it like this, what would happen? It's the same thing as doing this. What the hell is that? You can't do that, right? That's an error, okay? So I can't do that. What if I passed in a string? What would happen here? Well, that's the same thing as taking this and putting it here. Can't do that. That makes no sense, right? So the only way this will work is if I pass in a function that then this function would end up here and then run, and 4 would go into here, and then this would, whatever this returns is what would get returned up here. Got it? So to answer your question, if you just did this, that's the same thing as doing this, which you cannot do. Got it? Cool. Other questions while we're on this topic? Okay. Question about scoping. So, interview question. You guys are so good, I'm going to ask you an interview question. What is an interview question? When you guys apply for work at some point in your life, you're going to get someone like me who's going to put you in front of a computer and ask you to write code or ask you questions about code. And if you answer them correctly, maybe you get hired. If you don't, maybe you don't. So it's kind of good that you know this. Here's a very common interview question that is asked all the time. So you have a, which is 2. You have a function that has a const a, which is a 5. It takes an argument. Wait, hang on. I have to give it a name. Sorry. It takes an argument like z, and then I call f with a function as an argument, and it returns a. And what this is going to do is return the result of executing z. The question is, what is d? I'll give you a hint. Lots of JavaScript programmers that are working in industry get this wrong. Okay, so one important point, let me remind you how scoping works, and specifically how scoping works with functions. Remember how I said you check A, and if it doesn't exist, you go up? You do that, pay attention here, from the place where it's created, not from where it's executed. Let me repeat that again. You go up the scope, the blocks, from the place where it has been created, not from where it is used. Where is this function created? No, right here. Look, I'm showing it to you, right here. So, is there an A inside of this block here? No. So if you go up from here, where do you end up? You end up in this scope, which is 2. Not here. This is where it's executed. I see your point. I understand your logic. You're saying, well, it's running here. It doesn't exist here, but because it's running here, when you go up, you get to this. It's not where it's executed. It's where it's created. It's created here. And from here, if you go up 1, you end up in this scope here, in this block, which has A of 2. Got that? A lot of people get this wrong. So if you know this, that's fantastic. All right? Okay. One more thing. Let's go back to while loops. You guys remember while loops? Help me print. We're taking photos of code. We're good? We can change now? Yes? Okay, cool. All right, so, okay, here's what I want you to do. Help me write a function that takes a number and returns the sum of all of its previous numbers. In other words, if I give you a 5, I want you to return 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. Sure, yeah, until 0. Plus 0. So yeah, so until 0, yeah. Don't go into negatives. You understand the problem? I'll say it one more time. In fact, you know what? Do it yourself. Take out a piece of paper or whatever, just implement this. So, create a function that takes a number and returns the sum of all previous numbers inclusively. So include it as well. In other words, if I give you a 5, do 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. If I give you a 3, it's 3 plus 2 plus 1. If I give you a 2, it's 2 plus 1. Got it? I'll give you a hint. You need a loop.
Why?
Yeah. Why not?
Factorially bounding sum.
Factorial and multiplying that up.
You wanted to do
It's a variant of factorial.
You wanted to do it only one time?
Some.
One argument?
Yeah. Whatever argument I give you, you're going to give me the sum of all of its values back. I can give you anything. I can give you 1,000. And you would have to give me 1,000 If you need more time, tell me. Raise your hand. More time? Okay. Երկու տարբեր ֆունկցիաներ են, թե նույն ֆունկցիան։ Նույն ֆունկցիան ու իր մեջ չէ, const կարելի է, որովհետև ամեն կանչելուց ինքը ինչ որ աշխատում է, չէ, որ փոխում է всё, ինքը իր սամ փոխականները, սամ արժեքները անդետանում է։ Հետո նորից ես կանչում, նորից ինքը 0-ից սկսում է։ Այսինքն ինքը հին, եթե երկու անգամ կանչես, երկրորդ անգամը հին բան արժեքներ չի պահում։ Ինչու՞ է։ Ես ես ասում։ Science? Okay. Ես կարող եմ հանգիստ երկու անգամ կանչել։ Որտեղ առաջինական կանչեցինք եկավ, ես աշխատացրեց ու всё, ես ամեն ինչը անհետացա։ Ընդհանրապես այս C վերադասրած է, դուրս եկավ ու всё։ Հետո էլի եմ կանչում, նորից ինքը այս ամբողջ կոդը աշխատացնում է 0-ից։ Հա։ Այդ որ ասում էի, որ վերևից ներքև չես կարող եմ մտնես, ճիշտ է։ Քանի որ վերևից ներքև չես կարող մտնես, այն ինչ որ կատարվում է փողոցը չի։ Դու նորից կարող ես մի հատ ուրիշ ֆունկցիա։ Ամեն անգամ կանչում ես f-ին։ Պատկերացրու, ստե աշխատացում ես իրա մի հատ նոր միջավայրի մեջ։ Իրա լոկալ փոխականներով, իր ամեն ինչը բախում է։ Միակ ժամանակը որ դες չի լինի, եթե ստեղ անես, like a հավասարը, ասենք c։ Այ եթե դու ստեղից c-ին փոխեիր, չէ, c հավասարը c + 4։ Այ հիմա ամեն կանչելուց c արժեքը տարբեր է, որտեղ ինքը բայց ստեղ դրսի c-ն է օգտագործում։ Այսինքն իրանից դուրս է ինչ որ փոխումս է։ Այդ ժամանակ երբ որ ինքը բացնի, մեկը c-ին փոխել է։ Հասկացա՞ր չէ։ Okay. Let's do this. Let's create this function. So, first thing, create a function that takes a number. Help me. Help me create a function that takes a number. Const, let's call it sum of parts. I don't know. And then it's a function that takes what?
Number.
A number. So let's call it num. Why not? It has a start and it has an end. So far, so good. Can you guys read this in the back? It's okay? Yeah? Good. Alright, so, what do we need to do? We need to add up all the values, num and below, right? So, what do we need to do? Well, let's create another variable, like I don't know, running sum. And let's set it to 0, for now. Now what we need to do is loop over num, and then num minus 1, and num minus 2, and num minus 3, and keep doing this until num becomes greater than or equal to 0, let's say. Or greater than 0, whatever, doesn't matter. So while num is what? Greater than, or just greater than 0 is fine, okay? Hang on, let me break this so I don't get an infinite loop. 1 second. Okay, a while, just like an if statement, has what? A start and an end. How do I do that? Here's the start, here's the end, right? Okay, now, if I were to just put an E here, what would happen? It would loop for, okay, yes, he's right. We're actually not calling the function. But if we called sum of parts here, and we passed in, let's say, a 5, what would happen if I put an E here? Infinite loop, right? Because num is always, 5 is always going to be bigger than 0, and it's just going to go crazy, which we don't want. In fact, I just won't call it for now. Okay, so instead what we need to do is we need to change this situation so that eventually it stops, right? What should I do? How should I change it? Tell me.
Run sum.
Wait, okay. Before we do running sum, how can I just make it so that this thing loops 5 times?
Num minus num
Number equal number minus 1.
Exactly. Num is equal to num minus 1. So, if we get 5 here, first time it's going to be 5. Is 5 greater than 0? Yes. Then we do 5 minus 1, that's 4. Now, num is now 4. Is 4 less bigger than 0? Yes. We go here, then 3, then 2, then 1. And then when it becomes 0, it stops and leaves the loop. Does the looping structure make sense at this point? Okay, so now all we have to do, well, what is num? Num is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? So all we have to do is just add those numbers to a variable. So here's our variable, which initially is nothing, it's 0. What do we have to do? Tell me.
Let a equal 0, a plus equals a.
running sum.
A? Okay.
Running sum plus num.
It's not a and it's 0 after running sum.
You called it A.
Yeah, running sum.
Okay, what do you want me to do with it? You're right. What do you want me to do with it?
Yeah, we write that running sum
Yeah?
plus equals.
Okay, you don't know what plus equals, you know, but okay. Okay, so we do the long way, not the plus equals way.
Equals.
Equals
Running sum plus.
running sum plus num. Good. So the first time num will be 5 and running sum will be 0. So it will be 0 plus 5, right? So running sum will be 5. Next time it will be 4 plus running sum, which is 5. So running sum will be 9. Next time it will be 3 plus 9. 12. Next time, and so on, and you'll keep doing this. And are we done? What exactly? The function has to return something, right? It needs an output. How do we have an output? Return. Return what?
Running sum.
Good. Let's see what this prints. Ooh. Let's see what the running sum of 15 is. Ooh. Let's see what 105 is. Okay, ready? Ready? Woo. That's a big number. Cool, right? Yeah, we can compute.
I have a question.
Yes.
What will happen if we put running sum equals below the num equals num minus 1?
What do you think will happen?
Nothing?
Exactly. I mean, what do you think will change, I should say?
Nothing.
Nothing will change, correct. Because why would it? Okay, does this make sense? Okay, do me a favor. Whatever you wrote, throw it away, or, I don't know, change the page, or delete it, or whatever. And now I want you to implement the factorial function. Without, oh, sorry, but before, yes, go.
If we change this num function, yeah.
This, put this below this.
Some change.
What will change? Oh, sorry, wait. Sorry, there was a question there.
So I was
I'm
wrong.
sorry, I'm
Okay.
sorry, yes, you're right, because we're using num as part of this equation, so yes, of course. What do you think would happen?
It will start from 4.
Exactly. And go down and include 0, Because last time it will become 0, it will add 0, which will do nothing, of course, and then come here and break out of it. So it will be 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 0. Yeah. Okay, excellent, thank you. Okay, so you guys got that? Now, start a fresh piece of paper and implement a factorial function. For those of you who do not remember what that is, it's if I give you a 5, it's multiplication. It's 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Go. Be careful about the syntax. Make sure you write it correctly. Huh? While, okay, function-ը հատատած կոդ է, չէ՞։ While-ը օգտագործում եք այդ կոդի մեջ։ Հիմա դուք ուզում եք կոդ հատատեք, ինչ է չէ։ Իհարկե չի աշխատ։ I mean, function-ի մեջ կարող եք, while-ի մեջ principi կարող եք function ստեղծեք, բայց նա ինքը կստեղծվի այդքան անգամ։ Ու երկրորդը ինչի համար։ Okay. Ինքը գիտի, ինքը կասկի, մետ նայ։ Hajan, you know the answer? Just give it 1 second. Alright, raise your hands if you need more time. Okay, remember, even if you know it, try to actually write it. Because even if you know it, you might make a syntax error. So, write it. Yes. Oh, you solved it?
Are we also covering for loop?
Yeah, well, yeah. A for loop is just a syntactic sugar for while loop. So yeah, we'll get to it, absolutely. Okay, love. Enough time. Let's do this. So, alright, let's solve it together. So, how do we, tell me what to do.
Equals function S.
Okay. Or num. Let's call it num. Why not? Okay?
Curly braces.
Why? Why do we have curly braces? The start and end of the function. Good. Now we write the function. Let
Is equal to
right. You need a name, right? Let is just a declaration of a variable. What's the variable name?
AB.
Anna. Okay, let's wait. Let's Anna.
is equal to,
Let's
let's say 0.
say 0.
Oh,
Just keep in mind that if you multiply anything times 0, you get 0.
So let's have 1.
How does that see? No? Okay. Okay. Wait. I want to hear it. Just give it a second. Listen up. While
While number is greater than, let's say, 1.
greater than 1, fine. Okay.
Then we have the brackets.
Right. So we need the beginning of the loop and the end of the loop. Okay. And here's everything that's going to run in the loop. Keep going.
Then num is equal to num minus something.
executed?
5 multiplied by 4.
So what? How do you get from 5 to 4?
What I need.
Hingits chosmos karasasas.
So
Ah,
minus
but-
1 times 1.
So that something is 1. So if num was 5, we do minus 1 to get 4, right? And then we do minus 1, we get 3. We do minus 1, we get 2. Okay? Fine. Okay, now what? So this will just loop 5 times, right? Okay,
I
Himai.
need to return.
Okay, what do I return?
It wouldn't loop 5 times. 0 instead of 1.
You're right, it won't loop 5 times. You're right, it will, but we don't need it to loop 5 times technically, right? Because the 1 doesn't matter.
No, wait. When we write num is bigger or equal to 1, or is greater
Num
than 0,
multiplied by num minus 1.
Okay, the answer between this and this will be the same because you're just going to multiply times 1. You see what I'm saying? Wait, Anna. Your name is Anna, right? I'm sorry. Okay, you said, what do I have to return?
Num multiplied by num minus 1, I guess, because
Okay, so I have to return num multiplied times num minus 1, like that? Okay.
the syntax is
Wait, what will happen? Wait. Now run this through your head. This is fair. It's a good attempt. But let's understand what happens here. If this was 5, right? We would go here and create Anna is 1. We don't even use Anna anymore. That's weird. We loop 5 times, and then we do 5 times 4. And we return that. That's it. But that's not factorial, right? That's just 5 times 4. I need 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1.
So our problem is that num is greater than.
Well, first of all, why did you make this? Well, have you used it? No, you have not. Okay, it's a good attempt. It's a good attempt. Go. Wait. The lady in the back. Yes. Sorry, you're next. Go ahead. Yes, it's totally you. I got you.
After a while, you have to tell it to multiply on that by zero.
After a while, so what do you mean after this line?
Yeah.
So here,
Yeah.
yeah? Anna equals Anna times num. Interesting. Okay, are we done?
Change the return.
Change the return to Anna. Looks okay? Anyone else see an issue with this? Yeah. Yes, you see an issue? While does not equal to. You want me to put here? Sorry, what each of them said, Nama Havasarchi Anna. Okay, why? Որտեւ նայ, նամը 5 է, չէ? Okay, առաջին անգամ մենք ասենք 1 անգամ 5։ Այդ հետո բայց նամը փոխում ենք, yeah, of course։ Հետո 1-ը փոխում ենք մենք, դարձնում է 4 ու 4-ը հավասար չի 5-ին, հետո 5-ը քանի գնում մեծանում է, ու նամը քանի գնում փոքրանում է, դից որ իրաք երբեք հավասար չեն լինի։
Բայց խապեցի։ Բայց ինքը փոքրանում է լավ։
Երբե։ 5-ը փոքրանում է,
Աննան մի բան լավ փոքրանում է։
որտեղ նամն էլ է մինուսը, ու ինքը հակառակ չէ։
Արեք ու վեատը տիպ գանում։
Որտեղ նամը մինուս է դառնում, ինքը դառնում է
Նամը միջև մինուս դառնալ ինչ է դառնում։
0։ Հետո ամեն ինչը 0 է մնում։ Oh fucking stop fucking. Alright. Listen, this is what we're looking for. Since he got check, show some and what okay. Okay, so let's Anna jump. Do you understand why we did this? Okay. So now let's test it. Factorial of 5. factorial of 50? Ooh, that's a big number. Okay, let's do a smaller number, 7. Good. Okay. So the number gets very large very fast, as you can see. Now, what is, if you were to just read this code and you said, Anna is 1, would that give you any indication as to what this variable is? Anna doesn't tell you anything about the value, right? Running sum, on the other hand, or sum, tells you that it's the sum. So reading and understanding this code is now easier, because the variable tells you what it is. In the same way that if factorial was a, if you ever saw a, you would say, what the heck is a? But if you saw factorial, you understand it's a function that computes the factorial, right? It's intuitive. So names are important. They matter in programming. So let's do this now. Now that we created this super awesome function that we can reuse to, if you ever want to compute a factorial, you have the function. You never have to think about it. You can just call it. What if we create an object, let's call it obj for now, and let's, inside of this object, obj.factorial is factorial. What did I do? What does this do?
Create an object function.
We created an object,
And the method for it.
and we put in a key value pair where the key is factorial, the name factorial, and the value is the function. So later, I can do obj.factorial of any number I want, and it will compute the result. Now, instead of calling it obj, what if we called it math? And now, if we ever want to do something mathematical, we can just do math.factorial and then do whatever we want, and this will give you the factorial of 3. Let's add more cool mathematical functions to our math object. How about power of? Pow. Right? So if I give you 5 and a 3, it means 5 times 5 times 5. Yes? Write it. Write the pow function. It takes two numbers. One is the value that you're going to multiply, and the other one is the exponent. And then multiply it that many times. Okay? Եթե 3 2 տա, նշանակում է 3 անգամ 3։ Եթե 3 5 տա, նշանակում է 3 անգամ 3 անգամ 3 անգամ 3 անգամ 3։ Anna ջան, pauza. Tony, go. Implement the power function. So implement the function given two numbers. And what you want to do is multiply the first number that many times. This is actually easier than the factorial function, so it should be super simple. It's possible, I don't know. Yet if it triple equals on this, probably it's true. Բոլոր global փոփոխականները frame-ի մեջ մյուս տարբերվում են այս frame-ի global փոփոխականները։ Իսկ math-ը global փոփոխականի առանձին կոնտեքստների մեջ այդ բլոկը, որ ասում են, չէ, լրիվ նոր բլոկ աստեղծում մյուս frame-ի համար։ Ոնց որ լրիվ առանձին JavaScript-ի environment-ը։ Մեկը մյուսին ոչ մեկի լավ դեսին կորտնանում իր global փոփոխականի։ Այդ ուրիշ է, դու import-ը սարքում իր frame-ի մեջ։ Հա։ Այսինքն դու դուքիներ, ժամանակ դու դուքիներ։ needs more time. Okay. Yeah, like 1 more minute. Hurry up. Okay, okay, we're running out of time. Let's go. Let's solve it together. So, tell me what to do. Let's call it POW, just to keep it short. Okay, then? No, and it's called exponent, right? So let's call it exponent. Okay, then?
Then create some slash. Then curly braces. Close. Create some slash. Call it some key or something.
Key equals 1.
Yeah, equals 1. And then while brackets while
X
Parentheses.
value is smaller or equal to
while x
exponent greater than 0.
Okay, before we write code, what do we want to do? Yeah. No, yes and no. There's already an existing math function that has the POW function in it, but don't worry about that. I want you to do a loop. So answer my question. What is the algorithm we're trying to implement? Forget the code. What is the algorithm? What do we want to do? Go ahead.
multiply the number by itself.
X times, right? We want to loop this many times, and that many times multiply this times itself. Right? Okay, so if this was 5 and this was 3, it means we need to loop 3 times and do 5 times 5 times 5. So this is what we want to loop against, and this is what we want to multiply. Okay, now, I'm sorry, keep, whoever was, I'm listening, go.
While
Okay.
so noun noun
Who each? Science?
version return
Science? Okay. Anyone see an issue with this? Good effort, by the way. That was good. Mikani, bondage comments. Asajan.
We should write this statement around all the smaller values.
I should do what? Sorry?
Smaller. Instead of smaller or 12, just write small.
Like this? Okay, question. Okay, let's run this through our head. Imagine I call POW with a 5 and a 3. Nein, jetzt es hinga. Գիտեք ինչ 5 չի, սա 25 է ու սա 3 է։ Okay? Մեկը ավելի քիչ է, քան թե 3, այո, 25 անգամ 25 եղավ մի հատ անորմատիվ։ Սա 20։ Շնորհակալություն։ Հետո valid գումարում ենք 1։ Այդտեղ այսինքն valid դառավ 2։ 2-ը ավելի քիչ է, քան թե 3-ը, այո։ Նամը
35,620։
Okay, how can I tweak this? Yes.
Well, we should write x smaller or and equal 1. Greater than equal 1.
now change x to make sure I don't get an infinite
1
loop.
times num. 1 times num.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, yes. Okay, and here?
X, num equals to num. Oh, sorry.
X
1
plus
plus.
Նայեք, էլեմենտար բանը մաս։
X minus
Այս x-ը պետք է փոխվի, որպեսզի սա անդեր
x
չպտտվի, չէ՞։
equals x minus 1. X
Science? Return value։
Ապրոստը վերջից եք գալիս իսկ։
Ինչու, որովհետև նայեք, եթե ես ասենք 5 ու 3 պաստան, ըստ սրան ուղղակի հետ կստանամ 5, չէ՞։ Մեզ պետք է արդյունք հետ այդ ամեն ինչի ստանալ, չէ՞։ Բալ, դու։ Շատ լավ։ Okay, will this work? Are we good? Let's try it. How? 5 and a 3. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5 is 125. Not bad. Kind of cool. Yes. Guys, wait, listen. This is exactly the same as this. Ha, հասկանում եմ, այդ դու կոնստանտը չես պաստանից, դու արժեքն ես պաստանից։ Դու հինգն ես պաստանից, ոչ թե կոնստանտի փոփոխականը։ Ճոգեր? Արժեքն ես պաստանից։ Okay, alright. Good. Does this code make sense to you guys? Any questions? Yes? Ha, մի քանիսը կարևորն է։ Okay, նա S մեկը դե արդեն ջոգեցիք, չէ՞, S մեկը։ S մեկը բարձր է, ինչի հետ չկասկա, չէ՞։ Ha, կնես։ Դու S մասը ասացիր, չէ՞, կնես։ Ասացիր, ոնց էր, value
Value փոքրա բանից exponent-ի։
Ah, shoot. Sorry,
Փոքրա
focus metal. Oh, սա կորցնելու եմ, no. Ha, infinite loop-ն է լինում։ Բավ, okay։ Ha, սարացնում է browser-ը։ Ինչի, որտեղ browser-ը կոդը աշխատացնում է, չէ։ Ինքը որ աշխատացնում փոխվում է, հետո շարունակում է իր մնացած գործողությունները, չէ։ Focus, cursor-ը, սա նկարելը, այս կոդը browser-ն է նկարել։ Եթե մենք բռնում ու JavaScript ենք խորացնում, ամբողջը գրավում է ու սենց բան է տալիս։ Ուզում ես շարունակենք սպասենք այս JavaScript-ի, թե սպանենք իրան։ Ասում եմ սպանենք իրան։ Ու նայից մտանք
Հետո գնում է օսներ նշանակում է infinite loop-ը դա։
Ինչ է։
Հետո գնում է օսներ նշանակում է infinite loop-ը դա։
Oops. Oops, guys. Oops, asets by. Oops. Yes, oops. No step on this. Okay, now, me what back now. Okay. We have to write how one more time. You guys ready? Go. One sir. Now, okay, sorry, back to, I'm sorry, your question, which was, so you said here, needs to be, not the H-house, right? Okay, again, Nam mirobe, nam havasara nam ankam nam. Vala havasara icha.
Return now.
Ha, գիտես միրոպե։ Oh, ես գիտեմ ինչ նախնդիրը։ Ուզում ես բացատրես, թե ես ասում։
Աշվելի է դրա էպուսի այդքան։
Exactly. Okay, նայ ջան։ Եթե ես սա կանչեմ, how ասենք 5 ու 2, չէ։
Այդտեղ վերջում return none.
Հա, հա։ Նայ, այս նամի հաշվարկում եկեք պատկերացնենք, okay։ Նայ, եթե 5-ը մտավ ստեղ, նամը այս բան 5-ը, չէ։ Okay։ Սա okay է, հասկանում եմ, այս ցիկլը ճիշտ է սարել։ Կարելի ասես ցիկլ անել, այդ ճիշտ է լոգիկան, բայց նամի խնդիրը բացատրեմ։ Սա նշանակում է 5 անգամ 5, ճիշտ է։ Okay։ Այդ եղավ նամի մեջ հիմա մտավ 25, չէ։ Հաջորդ անգամ ինչ կլինի։
25 անգամ
Հասկացար, չէ, ու տենց, հետո դրա քառակուսի։ Okay. Cool. Is this right? Չէ, լավ։ Okay. So then we do const math is an object, and this math has a .pow which has pow in it. We could also just do this. We can take this, cut it, get rid of this, and just have this be that. Same thing. We can also take this whole thing, cut it, get rid of this, and in here just do pow colon that. All those things are the same. Yes? You guys remember objects, key value pairs? Yes? Tell me what the algorithm is. What are you thinking? Yeah? So you could fill in that array with like a bunch of values and then loop over that array again and multiply them together. You can, but now you have 2 cycles, right? One cycle to fill the array and another cycle, so you've doubled the execution time of your algorithm. Absolutely, absolutely, yes. Yes, other questions or concerns? Yes?
So there exists a math object in JavaScript.
Yes.
So when we define it, why does it conflict with the real math?
It doesn't, it overrides it.
But aren't both of these global?
Hang on. Yeah, but I think the other one, hang on. Let me try it. Maybe it does. No, it doesn't override. It doesn't conflict. They are global, but this overrides the native one.
So it's more local than the other one.
You can think of it that way. Okay, guys, so why did I show you all this stuff? Whenever you're building big programs, and by the way, it's not far away. Pretty soon, you guys are going to be writing more than just this much code. You're going to be building stuff. You're going to be writing games, you're going to be writing applications, you're going to be building websites, whatever, right? The idea is you don't build everything. What you do is you build parts of it. You wrap those parts up with reusable functions, and then you use that everywhere else. So for example, if I did this, right, I could forget about all that code, and then later, if I ever want to compute the power of any number, I can just do math.pow, and then give it a 6 and a 7, and I will get my answer. I can forget about all this code. In fact, I may not even write that code. Maybe you write that code, and I use your code. Right? This is how systems are broken up into parts. Is that clear? Okay, if that's clear, let's play with HTML. You guys remember HTML? So in my HTML, let me put in a div. A div is an element that just means like box. It's just a component. Okay? And let's give it an ID attribute of main. Now in here, I can do document dot get element by ID. Was it ID? Shoot. Hang on. Moment. Lowercase, okay. ID. And I can give it main. Question. What is this? What is document? It's an object. What is get element by ID? It's a function. This is a key that's inside of this object, right? Which we know is a function because here we're calling the function. What do are we passing as input to the function? A string, which contains the word main inside, right? What this will do is it will return to us, remember the functions return things? It will return to us a reference to this div. So this L now represents this element here. What I can do is I can say L dot inner HTML. What is inner HTML? It's a key inside of this object. So L is an object. And I can set that to something like hi. Whoa, it's crazy, dude. Right? So anything that I put in, so what is inner HTML? It's exactly what it says. It's the inner HTML. It's the HTML inside of this element. So what did I do? I told the document is an object that represents the HTML tree. I said, get me the element that has this ID. This div is the one that has that ID, right? You can see it. Div has an ID of main, so that matches. So this is the element that is returned. I can then do .inner HTML and then write any HTML here I want, and it will exist inside of this div. Don't believe me? Let me show you. Let's go to elements, momento. Wait. Okay. Hang on. That's awesome. Essa. You see this? Can you guys see this? Hang on, let me make it bigger. Okay. You see how I have this div, and then inside it says hi? That's the hi I just put in. Now watch this. Instead of hi, let's put something else. Let's put HTML. What's a fun HTML? Let's put a p tag with someone's name. Give me a name.
Mariam.
Okay, let's create another p tag. And let's put in Ani. Cool. All right. So this is not console, guys. This is actual HTML. This is literally the web page changing because of my JavaScript. Now, is this part clear? And you guys know how to concatenate strings, right? To make bigger strings? Yes, you know that? Okay, in that case, imagine I give you an array of friends. This is an array. It contains objects of my friends. So this is my first friend. My friend has a first name of Mike and a last name of Bobosan. Good. I have another name. I have another friend. First name of Joe and the last name of Pedrosa. Good. Okay, so let's just say I have two friends. Help me create a loop that loops over each friend that I have and then takes the first name and last name, puts them together into a string, puts them inside of a p tag, and adds it to a running string. So that I can then set that string as the inner HTML here. Okay. Here's what I mean. Okay. Look, I do let my let's say I be 0. While I is greater than, no, sorry, less than friends.length. Hang on. Wait. This will make sense in one moment. Hang in there. What will this do? What I just wrote. How many times will this loop? 2 times. So first I will be 0. That's fine. That's less than friends.length. What is friends.length? 2. Good. So 0 is less than 2, fine. Then I change that to 1. 1 is less than 2, fine. Change that to 2. That's false, we leave, right? Okay, so what I need to do now is at each level, I need to go to friends and get I. So initially I'll get 0, then I'll get 1. In other words, first I'll get this friend, then I'll get this friend, right? Okay, so I have this friend. Now from that friend, I want to get the first name and last name. So friend.first name. And let's concatenate that to an empty string and do friend.last name. And let's set that to const name. Now, we need some sort of a running string that we keep adding things to. So let's do that. So let's do let stir be an empty string initially. And now let's just do stir equals stir plus name. And now here, let's set the L inner HTML to stir. Wait. What will happen in my HTML? Can anyone tell me? I'll get this. So what I want to do is instead of having each name be in a separate p tag. P tag will cause it to create a new line. Okay? So here I can do p tag plus, and then whenever you have an open tag, you need a closing tag, right? When you're using p tags. So p. There you go. Let's see what happens now. I forgot something. Hello. Let's go back just to get into a working state. Okay, let's go again. Here, let's have, you know what, let's leave name as is, because we shouldn't mess with name. Then here, let's create the HTML. So const HTML should be the p tag plus name plus the closing p tag. And now here, let's have the running be HTML. Yay! Megan, yes?
So why are you putting p tags in the code? Like why are you specifying that?
Why am I putting HTML here?
No, why are you putting the tags in the string? Like in the code?
Awesome. You see this, inner HTML?
Yes.
Inner HTML takes any HTML string and renders it inside of this element. So I can put anything. The next thing we're going to do is put an image tag. So you can see pictures of people. So good? Okay. Now let's give these people images. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm a big fan of puppies, so that's so cute.
Okay, we used that.
We used this already? Okay, let's use this one. Alright, let's use this one. Copy image address. Here we go. So that is a URL that references the puppy, right? Let's give another one, image, and let's find another puppy. Who you? This one's cute, right? Copy image address. Right. Oh, no, not that one, sorry. I'll explain to you what that is later, just now it doesn't matter. Copy image address. How about this one? This one, okay. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, good. So now we have two friends. The first friend has a first name of Mike, last name of Bogostown, and an image of a cute puppy, and this one also has an image of a cute puppy. Now, let's draw that. So this is the name. Hang on. Const image is going to be friend.image, right? This is the image. Do you guys remember how to create an image tag? Yeah, you remember? So we do, hang on, so let's do const image HTML. How do I make an image tag? Tell me. And it's a self-closing tag, right? An image tag does not have anything inside of it. There's no inner HTML. Okay, so now here, need to stick in this. So we do image. Looks right? So now let's add this to our string. Whoa, hang on. Okay, let's make these images a bit smaller. This is where it would be good if you knew a bit of CSS, but it's fine. Style, hang on, don't worry about this. So let's do height or width of, I don't know, 15. Okay. Hey, cool. Really not, okay, it's fine. It's fine, I don't need your pity. So congratulations, you know how to make a Facebook. Okay, so the other question is, so where does this data come from? This information come from? Well, the way Facebook works, right, is it makes a request, an HTTP request to the server, saying, give me some information. And what gets returned is basically something like this. Stringified version, JSON, don't worry about that for now. And then there's a JavaScript code in there that will loop through it and render your friends. Basically in this way. I mean, not exactly in this way, of course, but you get the idea. This is the idea. Like, once you have the data, you can then add that data to your HTML DOM using functions. Capiche? So we're finally in a realm where we're not just writing to the console anymore, we can actually manipulate the HTML DOM. This is a huge step. Because if you can understand JavaScript programming and you can start messing around with the DOM, you can start doing some really interesting things. Which is exactly what we're going to start doing now. Do we have time? No? Well, sort of. Okay, let's do a few more exercises before we do that. So now, if I want to get the factorial of something, remind me how to get the factorial of something.